Introducing a brand new heat from the rookie class in the round of 16. Barron Mamiya takes on Callum Robson. Barron, number 9 in the world. Callum, number 10 in the world. Hawaii versus Australia, that's been a classic rivalry for a very long time since PT and his crew busted down the door and created this whole thing that we're calling pro surfing today. Barron and Callum, really exciting surfers. PT, what's your take on this next matchup?
Well, this is kind of a critical heat at this part of the season if they're at 9 and 10 from the point of view of, like this result right now.
We saw Barron after his last victory to get this far into the round of 16. He was a little bit frustrated with his performance, as we'll see this chip in to kick things off. Callum Robson from Evans Head, snap to start, kind of sneaks in an open face hook. Another tight jam off the lip. That's been a reliable maneuver for him this season. And then going upside down on the end section to go for a big error. Incomplete.
At PT to get 2 ways before I caught any.
Comes down to heat strategy, a solid game plan, and what a great feeling to get a win off someone who has been on a roll against you in the past. This is another great opportunity for Callum Robson. Connects well on that first turn. Stretched out bottom turn, blows the fins and controls it. Just kind of a reset maneuver here to punch out the fins again. Second attempt at the reverse. He'll get this one.
Well, that was crazy how he got his foot back. He was way up front on the board after that rotation, and he was able to get himself back on the back fins and drive again into that next little section.
A lot of trust in Biolis and Mike Inertia for getting those things dialed in for me. And then, now it's just wave selection and not falling.
And that was an amazing heat there against Geordie, one of obviously your heroes growing up. How was that going up against him?
I just felt like maybe they had an inkling that Felipe got a bit hung up on one of his second maneuvers there, so, just scoring under. There's some surfers that surf for the score, right, and others that obliterate it.
I mean, he's taken off on every way thinking he's going to get 10.
As we look at Barron Mamiya throwing down the snap off the top, hits it again vertically. Nice casual style and approach for that wrapping cutback. Fading that wrap again and just putting this inside corner to bed with a series of carves. Callum Robson, PT.
Yeah, nice little cut back into the pocket there. Comes around it, just whacks it off the top right there. Nice floater to end. That middle maneuver, though, was the money term in that wave.
Here comes Callum Robson. Driving hard in that section off the lip. Right off the bottom again, and he'll ride away from that turn on the end section. So Callum steps off. That's the non-priority heat with Barron Mamiya.
2 scores come down from the judges.
And here is Barron, PT.
Yeah, Barron's been quiet. I thought he had an earlier wave, but I actually had it confused with the wave of Callum, I think. And Barron just hasn't been finding the waves in this heat. And but Callum hasn't got a big score yet. I mean, look, a couple of 4s. Usually that ain't going to get you a win.
Wow. And that's what the story was all based about in the movie.
Right. He went into the draft and signed up. He didn't try to get out of it, if you remember the movie where they have the draft scene.
That's right. As we look at Barron Mamiya sliding the tail and has to get out of there, you can still see the frustration as he's really hoping to open up in this heat, chasing a 6.23 to catch up to Callum Robson.
I'm back in another heat.
Trump card.
Big bottom turn. Callum opening up with a big first turn. And a big whip with the tail release to follow. And now set up work into the inside track. End section, a wild one, but he pulls it off. So Callum is building over Barron Mamiya.
Heat that he surfed previously, and really start with a clean slate, because every heat is an opportunity. You see changing conditions, but Callum Robson, oh my gosh, this guy's a hammer. He just is able to just tweak that board up into the lip, really overpowers the sections, which is fun to see. This right here, the way he negotiates that converging section.
And here comes Barron Mamiya, PT.
Yeah, well, he needs to get something going here. He's been having a tough time in here finding waves to get us scores on, and I see a little frustration in his surfing too.
And here comes Barron Mamiya now, PT.
Yeah, well, he's got a wall in front of him. Nice little snap in the open face right there. He's looking for the wave to build up down the inside, and it's going to go for a little punt. and into that next section. This is going to be probably his best ride up to date, but it's still going to need a whole lot more than that to get a 7 out of here today. Those judges aren't very kind unless you get super open face, and I mean, he did a bunch of maneuvers, but there was no open face on that wave.
Barron Mamiya now sitting number 9 in the world, so drifting out of the WSL Final 5, and even briefly wore yellow earlier this season. Cool to see a surfer just live up to the hype and the expectations. Ethan Ewing going back-to-back through the Australian leg of the tour. As we continue on, the priority heat has now changed to Callum and Barron, 2 members of the rookie class. There's that tail-high punt attempt from Callum Robson. He's got a cool tempo to his bottom turn. He's opening things up against Matty McGillivray in the non-priority matchup.
We want to see him do well. We want to see it to live up to that hype and that potential. But this season, he just seems so settled in himself. He's not making the same mistakes that he was making in other seasons, and he's definitely freed up his surfing. He came out of nowhere for me. I think growing up, I've spent a lot of time out of South Africa, but seeing what he's doing at the moment, just super proud as you see a surfer up Callum.
It's Callum.
Robson loading up for another punt attempt, disconnected from his board. He hasn't given up, going for those big sections. Barron Mamiya, though, still needs a 7.43. And he's the only guy that runs across the rocks, preparing for that next heat. Here comes Barron Mamiya, and he'll get caught behind for a moment. Let's see him really open up. Here's the snap, right into a cutback. And he'll hop out of there, still seeing signs of frustration from the surfer from Oahu. Jack Robinson has Gabriel Medina.
Oh.
Wow.
And whoever finishes around ahead of each other wears yellow into the next event between Jack and Toledo as Callum just kicks out.
He's got pretty good command of this heat at this point, because just look at the scores on the scoreboard right now between the two of them. And nothing went right.
Yep, exactly.
Winding up into the open face, Callum Robson will be preparing for Felipe Toledo. A bit of a rematch from their final at Bells Beach. And solid performance in some chunky conditions. It was definitely hard to read. Callum Robson will get the win in that rookie battle to move on to the quarterfinals. When we come back, Italo Ferrer and Connor O'Leary hit the lineup.